In this last video, I want to talk about creating custom view models. Now, this is more of a conceptual topic, somewhere between a tips and tricks and an architectural best practice. If you recall from early on in this course, I said that the models folder that is created for you automatically whenever you create a new ASP.NET MVC project is pretty generic. I mean, what do they want you to put in there, right? There are different kind of models, and which model do they want you to put in there? Do they want you to put in a data model or an entity model? Do they want you to put a domain model in there? Or what do they want you to put a view model in there? Well, the fact of the matter is that you could mix all three of these concerns into the same class if you really wanted to. You could create a single class that represented the domain model that in turn is used by the entity framework to generate the database table and columns using code first, and then turn around and use it also as a view model that we pass from the controller's action result methods into the view. So it could perform several different responsibilities in the system. Now, if you recall from the application architecture series, I said that ideally you would split these concerns out into their own classes, that you wouldn't use a single class for all of these responsibilities. However, the fact is that Visual Studio, especially the scaffolding, the MVC5 scaffolding, rewards you for munging those concerns together into the same class. I mean, whenever you go to create a new controller, it'll say, hey, I got an idea. Not only can I give you a controller, but I can give you a listing of all that particular item you're looking for, plus a detail, edit, create, and a delete screen. Would you like me to do all of that based on that model that you gave me? And you're like, yeah, sure, okay, I guess I can do that. And before you know it now, you've munged all your concerns together. It's a very agile way to build an application, to rely on the scaffolding, but you might feel a little architecturally dirty. And so it's kind of a trade-off. Which one are you going to pick? So what I want to show you is an example of an administration app that I started building last week for maybe an upcoming version of LearnVisualStudio.net, of the website software that I run on. I'm considering building it again and demonstrating it all on camera using MVC 6, Entity Framework 7, and all the new goodies that are coming out there. So I created a set of POCO objects, and then I used the Entity Framework code first migrations to create the database and handle the persistence concerns of the application. And again, these are based on POCO classes that I then adorned with data annotations here and there. And furthermore, for the most part, I use those same POCO classes as the view models for these admin screens that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. And those admin screens will do things, the typical stuff that you get from the scaffolding, CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete, and give me a list. And together, I'm going to allow the user to create courses with lessons, and lessons have activities like watch this video activity or take this quiz activity. So it's very much like the managed learning that I started experimenting with on LearnVisualStudio.net last year. Okay, so and these will form kind of the a crude version of the learning management system that I'll build at least at some point in the future. So in most cases, this is all I need. However, there's one page in particular that vexed me, that I wasn't able to just take that POCO class that I used as my domain model, my entity model, and then as the view model. I wasn't able to do that in one particular situation. Let me first log in here. And this is, I guess you could call it live code, in so much that I got somebody using this to actually fill in, copy all the details of my existing courses and videos and stuff and put them into a database format that I can use in the future. So here we have a list of courses, and courses have a collection of lessons, and each lesson will have a collection of what I call tasks. Here I renamed it and called it activities. So a given activity will have a set of permissions. If you're a one-year member, you might only be able to watch the videos in that particular activity. But if you're a lifetime member, you might be able to not only watch the videos, but then also download the MP4 file and be able to participate in the forums. Does that sound familiar? Okay, so that's what I'm going for here. So for individual videos for a lesson in my course, I want to be able to allow the user to choose the levels, whether 1 year, lifetime, or additional roles that I create in the future, and what they're able to do in the system. So you can see in this particular case, is a pretty typical version where 1 year and lifetime members can view the video, but only lifetime members can download and can comment on a video. All right. Now you might recognize this little guy here, right? Well, I used a similar kind of bootstrap jQuery plugin sort of thing in order to give me this drop-down functionality. Look at how beautiful this is. So I can say that, hey, in this particular video, that it's free to the public and it's available for 1 year members and lifetime members, but you still have to be just a lifetime member to download and comment. Okay? And so I could save this and it will save it into the database. Now, think about what I need here. I need a list of all the possible roles that can be selected. Then I need a list of all the roles that have been selected for this given activity in the system, and whether it's the view permission, the download permission, or the comment permission. All right. I would click save, and then it will save this in the database, and I can come back and look at this one more time, and it should have retained my values. Very good. But what if I were to say, hey, lifetime and 1 year can download, but I'm going to make a mistake and I'm actually going to forget to type in the duration of minutes and click save here. And so I get this, the duration minutes field was required. It did not save these values into the database because I hit an error condition. So now I need to keep track of what was selected, even though it wasn't saved in the database, as well as all the roles that are available so that I can continue to represent them in this drop-down list, as well as all the rest of the data on this form, so that when I do eventually type in that it's a 45-minute video and click save, it will ultimately save those values. Okay, so what I have here, if you want to take a look at the classes, there is a class called the video activity. This is what we were calling tasks, on the web page, but it's actually an activity. And so there's different kinds of activities. Again, quiz activities, video activities, exercise activities. They all inherit from a base class called activity. So let me go there. And you can see that we have this abstract class activity that itself derives from content and gets some more of its fields. I won't show you that. It's not really all that important. But at the activity level, activities have activity roles. And an activity role, let's take a look at one of those. An activity role basically is a combination of a role from ASP.NET Identity. In my case, it's going to be admin, 1 year, lifetime, and so on, or free, and then what the permission type is. So in this case, it might be a lifetime member can view, a lifetime member can download, a lifetime member can comment. Those would be 3 activity roles in the list, the collection of activity roles for a given activity. Okay, hopefully you're still following me. But you'll recall that I can't just give the view a video activity because I have to also pass along additional information to it. So in this case, I'm going to create what's called a custom view model, where I'm going to pass along the video activity that will contain like the duration in minutes and seconds, the title, the segment name, and all those things that we could fill in. But then it also is going to have 2 additional things that we're going to pass from the controller into the view. It's going to have first of all, a collection or a list, a multi-select list of all the items that they could select in the drop-down list. So these are going to be the roles that I gather from the ASP.NET identity. So it'd be ASP.NET roles table in our database. And so I want to have those multi-select lists created, and then I need to keep track of the items that were selected, both as the user selecting and hit submit, and then in the scenario we showed where there is they want to go and edit an existing activity, or they want to edit an existing activity, but they forgot to fill in all the details about the activity, and so it fails. We still need to pass back a list of all of the items that were selected in the drop-down list box from the previous time. So you can see here that I'm sending in a bunch of information that I'm kind of putting under one class, and I'm going to pass it from the controller to the view. All right, so let's take a look at the controller that makes this happen. We'll take a look at the video activities controller. I'm not going to lie to you, this is going to look complex, and I could refactor this and improve it quite a bit. There's a lot of checking, and there's a lot of grabbing, there's calling of other methods like this populate activity role drop down. A lot of logic going on here to figure out these scenarios, and this is one of the more complicated things I've done in a while. But the key idea here is that ultimately I've created an instance of this video action edit view model, and I start adding things into it. In this case, I'm giving it a video activity. I'm going to also populate the items that should be available in the drop down plus the ones that have already been selected, and then I take all of that junk and I pass it over to the view itself. So let's take a look at the view for our video activity, and I'll look at the edit scenario. First of all, you can see that I'm creating hidden fills for a lot of stuff that I'm going to need to pass back and forth. It's just the way I needed to implement it. But I want you to notice how I'm plucking off information off the model. So the model, remember, is an instance of that video action edit view model. But I want to get specifically in this case to the video activity class and grab off its segment property, right? And the same is true for a lot of these where I'm grabbing off the admin friendly name, the ordinal position, the title of the video, the body, the Vimeo ID, the duration in minutes and seconds and things like that. But then at some point I'm going to need to also pass this data into a let's see what we call this here. In the shared folder, we have editor templates. We have an editor template. That's not what I was looking for. Oh, yeah, it's over here. Oh no, it's not an editor template. It's just some classes that I apply to a div control, or no, I'm sorry, it's a list box. But then I apply this chosen select in order to use that JavaScript library called chosen, and it'll give me a lot of the functionality. But I do need to give it a couple of things like the selected item IDs from the array of strings, and then also the actual roles that should be available in the drop-down list box. So I do this for downloads, for comments, and then for viewing only for the video. Okay, huge explanation, but the concept is this, that I needed to pass more information than simply the POCO object. Now this information is tangentially related to the view model itself, what I would call the view model, the video activity. I could have passed it in as a view bag object, but I chose not to do that. Instead, I put everything in one dedicated view model class, and then I pass that whole thing in one shot to as an input parameter, or rather as the model into my view. All right, and then I just pluck off what I need by going to the model and grabbing the class, and the class is property in this case, or down here further on, the collection of view items, or the items that were previously selected. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense. Again, the moral of the story is that if you need to pass a lot of stuff, create a new class and then add references to whatever you need, pass that along, and you'll just need to use the the dot notation to get at any of its children and its children's children and any of its properties, okay? All right, so that's all I really wanted to say. We'll wrap it up in the next video. We'll see you there. Thanks.